Are y'all ready to let everybody in since we record and stopped?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock, it's a minute till, so I'll go ahead and start admitting the folks.
For those that's just joining us, I just want to say good morning to everybody. We have some people that are still coming in, that's logging in, so we should be starting in a minute or two.
And if you will, as you join, if you have the chat feature, if you will, please let us know who you are, the name of your business, and how long you've been in business.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. My name is Christopher Alford. My business name is the Real Chance Foundation. Established the business in 2019.
Thank you, Chris. If you don't mind, can you just drop it in the chat box so everybody, in case anybody wants to respond to you directly, but thank you for introducing yourself. We're going to get started in just a sec. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we would, first of all, I would ask everybody to please mute their microphones. Again, good morning. My name is Erica Wade. I am the manager for the Office of Small Business Opportunity here at Richland County. It is truly a pleasure to have every one of you joining us here for our workshop titled COVID-19 Relief Workshop. I encourage you all to please get a pen and piece of paper, take lots of notes. But before we get started, I would like to introduce our OSBO team. We have Ms. Pamela Green Swinton, who is our assistant manager for OSBO. We have Ms. Anjanette Dunbar. Wave your hand and you'll hear from her shortly. She's our program coordinator. And we have Ms. Margaret Jones, and she's our certification and compliance specialist. Before we go any further, let's take care of some housekeeping rules. First of all, like I said, please mute your microphones. But we still want this chat to be an interactive workshop. So we want to encourage you to please put all your questions, comments in the chat box. We have staff that's on hand that's going to be monitoring the chat box, and we'll make sure all your questions are answered. Also, just to let you know that this workshop is being recorded and is being aired live on our Richland County YouTube page. So if you want to go back and watch the workshop again, you'll have the opportunity to do so. And we will also upload a link to this workshop on our OSBO website. Again, if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box. We'll make sure it gets answered. Plus, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Margaret Jones, who's going to talk about our certification and compliance, our certification and compliance specialist, who will talk about our SLBE program. Margaret Jones.
So Margaret was having some technical difficulties, and I will actually handle part of that. So we want to just share with you a few things on the benefits of being certified, the eligibility requirements as we certify in 2 areas, and then talk a little bit about some of the required documents. Some of the benefits of being certified through our office is that as a small local business enterprise, which we tag as SLBE, you'll receive maximum firm exposure via our certified SLBE directory. Being certified also allows you to be eligible for projects that will actually have a utilization goal that's targeted for our small businesses that are certified through our office. And there are opportunities for our small local business enterprise businesses to have an opportunity to sometimes be the sole source performer on certain projects that may be less than $500,000. Also, some of the other benefits, you are able to benefit from a lot of business development opportunities, trainings, and of course, this usually crucial will be peer-to-peer networking. It's great when we're able to do business with our peers that help support the local economic status of Richland County. You also have an opportunity to be featured as a story on our OSBO webpage. So let's talk a little bit about some of the eligibility requirements. I mentioned that we certify in 2 areas, the first being the SLBE, which is a small local business enterprise. In order to be certified as an SLBE, the business must be located in Richland County at least 1 year prior to the submission of the application. If for some reason your business is not located in Richland County, if you employ at least 25% of your employees out of Richland County, this will help you qualify for that piece as being considered part of the Richland County network. However, we do require proper documentation to be able to verify that you have the employees. You must be independently owned and operated, and you cannot have any more than 50 full-time employees. You also have to agree and comply with the program requirements, which are enforced by our office, OSBO, Office of Small Business Opportunity. The other area that we certify in is called the Emerging Small Business Enterprise. This is called an ESLBE. In order to be certified in this area, you must actually be less than 5 years old and not have any more than 5 employees. And on average, your annual gross sales averaged over the life of the company has to be less than $1 million. So that's one of the differences. And then all the other requirements as it related to the SLBE are required for our emerging as well. We do certify in 6 different industry categories, and they each have their own size standards. Those 6 areas are construction, architecture, professional services, non-professional services, engineering, and wholesale services. And to give you an idea as far as certifying categories, which I will drop this information in the chat just for you to have. So an example would be if you are in construction, basically your average 3 years annual gross cannot exceed 7 million. And those are part of the criteria and thresholds that we use to certify. Let's just say you're in professional services. I'll tell you what, I'll use non-professional services, which can basically entail quite a few people, and probably most of you on here. Your average gross sales cannot exceed 3 million. So that's just an idea of how the thresholds are related to the certifying categories. The certification program is an online process, so you would actually apply online. We use a system called B2G, which is business to government. The website, which I will actually put into the chat as well, is rcgov.gov2.com. That is a B2G website. Once the office receives all documents to process, it should normally take about 2 weeks. And we also do a site visit as well to validate the viability of your business. As stated, Margaret Jones is our certification and compliance specialist. I'll also include her information in the chat in the event you have additional questions, reference our certification process. And it's great to see everyone on today. And we look forward to any questions you may have about the funding opportunities that will be coming out of our office. Jeanette.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeanette Dunbar, and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get into So hello, and thank you again for being here today. Again, the mission of the Office of Small Business Opportunity of Richland County, South Carolina, is to provide a race and gender neutral tool for the county to use its efforts to ensure that all segments of its small and local business community have reasonable and significant opportunity to compete and participate in contracts. In response to businesses that are in risk of laying off or closing, this result of the pandemic and the economic downturn, this is why we're here today. So in response to the pandemic, we have 2 opportunities for grants. The COVID-19 Small Business Relief is the one we're here to talk about today. It's for forgivable loans up to $15,000 to reimburse businesses for COVID-related costs. A second grant is coming. It is the Small Business Seed Grant. It is called Seeds to Engage. It's a competitive grant for a one-time $10,000. That grant will launch in 2022. These funds are coming from HUD. You may have been familiar with the Community Block Development Block Grant under the Economic Development portion. So again, we're talking about the CV-19 Small Business Relief Funds. Ineligible applicants, it will be hotels, motels, franchises, anyone that's a franchise, national or regional chain, private membership businesses, businesses with 51% or more of revenue coming from alcohol sales or adult-oriented business, businesses owned in part or fully by Richland County staff, administration, or leadership. You are eligible to apply for these fundings. Businesses with legal actions from or against Richland County government, and businesses with owners involved in financial mismanagement with convictions within the last 3 years. Eligibility requirements for this CV-19 COVID Small Business Relief Grant. For-profit businesses located within Richland County with 1 to 50 employees. Businesses can demonstrate ongoing business operation 1 year prior to March 2021. Applicant is 51% majority owner of the business. You must have a Richland County SC business license. You can demonstrate business interruption and revenue loss as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. You must certify on the application that the use of the grant funds will only be used to reimburse authorized business expenses. You plan to resume normal business operations after the emergency guidelines have been lifted. You shall cooperate with appropriate officials for grant auditing purposes. No owner, officer, partner, or principal actor of the business must have a felony conviction for financial mismanagement within the last 3 years for which he or she is serving a sentence, including prison, parole, and/or probation. Your business must not be publicly traded, partially owned by a hedge fund, or a corporate-owned franchise. Your business does not have any current city, county, state, or federal liens. Businesses does not have any current unpaid code enforcement liens and is not operating in violation of any state, federal, or local laws. Commit to recommended COVID-19 safety guidelines put forth by the local, state, and federal authorities. Your business must not be in bankruptcy, current with all state, local, and federal taxes, fees, and be in compliance with all of your Richland County business obligations. Businesses can demonstrate the retention or creation of at least one full-time equivalent employment opportunity for a low to or moderate income resident in Richland County. That is our LMI portion. That is the caveat for these particular funds. The HUD income limit guideline, these are the guidelines we'll be operating. The LMI person can be the owner and or multiple employees, as long as that position adds up to 37.5 hours, that's the full-time rate, you will be able to receive these funds. So the eligibility criteria for the persons in the household, so that one position that you're retaining or creating must fall within the guidelines of these HUD guidelines here that's on this form. For example, if your person that you're hiring to work full-time, if their household has 3 people in the household, they must earn less than $51,950 total within that household for you to claim that particular person for the position that is the LMI position for the employment status. Eligible uses of the funds. The grant funds can be used to reimburse the cost of business interruption due to the pandemic. For instance, you can utilize your rent, lease, or mortgage payments for the real property used for business purposes, payroll expenses, utility management for business properties, cost of critical business operations, personal protective equipment, PPE, the sanitation equipment and supplies used, essential business materials and supplies. The required documents that's needed for this particular funding. You must have a signed and executed Richland County Small Business Relief Program application, your Richland County business license, your operating agreement if you have multiple owners, your valid ID, a completed W-9, DUNS number, and your DUNS number must be registered in sam.gov, itemized summary of eligible reimbursable expenses, and the bills and invoices for the eligible reimbursed expenses, along with proof of payment and payroll records. Your business financials that are required for this, for individual sole proprietors and single owner LLCs, you're expected to have your 2020 Schedule C tax returns and your second quarter, April, May, June 2021 profit and loss statement. For corporations, you only need your Form 1120, your 1120Ss, and again, you're going to need your Q2 2021 profit and loss, as well as for partnerships. You're going to need your 2020 partnership tax return, the 1065, along with your second quarter 2021 profit and loss statement. Submitted applications will be reviewed for completeness and requirement thresholds. Applicants recommended for funding will be contacted to sign their agreements. And please note that attending these workshops does not guarantee your business for funding through Richland County. So we have set up some FAQs. These are the frequently asked questions. Some of the questions that we've been getting is, can I change my application after it's been submitted? For this, applications have been, once the application is submitted, unfortunately, you will not be able to go back and make any changes. What you can do is make sure that while you're going through the application, make sure everything is completed during that time. Make sure you carefully go over your questions and the uploads that you're going to need. Do grant applicants receive a confirmation that they submitted their application? Every applicant will receive a confirmation screen that follows all fields that have been filled out correctly, and you will receive an email once you've done and hit submit. If I applied in a previous COVID-19 grants, do I have to reapply, or will my application roll over? All applications are unique and individual, so no, your applications will not roll over. You must submit a new application for each grant in order to be considered for funding. If I previously received COVID grant, may I reapply for subsequent funding? Prior awardees to earlier COVID grant pools should check the specific grant program application for further information for eligibility. For this particular grant, you can apply if you've received PPP or if you received any other funding. However, you cannot duplicate funds that you've already received. So, example, if you receive payroll funding from May, June, and July of 2020, you cannot receive funding for May, June, and July of 2020. However, you can apply for funding for August, September, and so forth. You just can't duplicate funds that you've already received. When will OSBO's online application portal open and close for submission? Our applications will launch in November, this month, tentatively somewhere after November the 17th, the applications will go live. We will send out an email, and there will be information noted on our website as well to when the application will open. The application will only be open for 3 weeks, and then it will close. How will I be contacted or know if I received the grant? Someone from OSBO office will primarily utilize an email to communicate with you. You also may receive a phone call to let you know about this, but please be sure to check your email regularly, including your spam folders. Email updates to all applicants will come from the OSBO Office of Small Business Opportunity, and the finalists will receive the next steps from OSBO pertaining to the grants. All applicants will be notified whether or not you receive a grant. Some of the other questions, what can my grant be used for? Payables to include rent and utilities, meeting your payroll, including the applicant, paying outstanding debt to vendors, other immediate operational costs. Does anything need to be repaid? No, this is a grant. However, if there's anything to be found to be a duplication of funds, those will be need to be repaid. Or if there's been anything fraudulent or any improper use of the funds, those will be nullified, and this loan will return from forgivable to a loan. So we'll open it up for questions.
Jeanette, we do have one question in the chat. My company is in the city of Columbia and has a city business license. Do we also need a Richland County business license as well?
Yes, you do need a Richland County business license. There has been some concern. If you have been told you didn't need a Richland County license, contact the office. You can email us at osbo@richlandcountysc.gov and let us know your circumstances. and see if there's any fix to that. Are there any other questions in the chat box?
I do have one question. I know this has come up before. As far as the LMI, low to moderate income qualifier, we can also, business can also create the position as it relates to 2 part-time positions, correct?
Yes. So as long as the position has 37.5 hours, that can be 1 person, 2 people, or 3 people combined to make that 37.5 hours. And again, it can also include the owner of the company or the part-time or full-time people that it employs. But the 1 position needs to total 37.5 hours.
Okay. We have another question. Do I need a business bank account to receive funding?
Yes, you do need a business bank account that's in the name of your business.
Okay. Another question. Good morning. Will this recording and presentation be available to us after the meeting is over? Yes.
Yes.
I have a question, Anjanette. After completion of the application, and I realize, oh, I may have missed the documentation, will I be able to go back into the application and upload any documentations, or once I hit submit, is that final? Can you
unfortunately, once you hit submit, that completes your portion. You're not be able to go back in, and we will not be able to go back in and open your application to add anything to it. So please, please, please pay careful attention to the information that you upload and the information that you put into the required boxes.
And just to reiterate, an incomplete application makes you ineligible. So the application will not be reviewed if it is incomplete.
Okay.
We have another question. Do nonprofit corporations that do not have a 501c3 qualify for this?
That's the first I've heard of this question, and I am not particularly sure. You have to be a for-profit company, but if you don't have your 501c3, I don't have an answer. What I would do is document that question and return an answer. But however, this particular funds are for a for-profit entity.
And just to add to under that for-profit, because at this point, whether you have the 501c3, you're still operating as a nonprofit corporation. And part of the affidavit of statements is that you are a for-profit. So to answer that question is going to be that you're not going to be able to qualify for this because you are operating as a nonprofit corporation.
And there are some opportunities for nonprofit through the community planning and development. You can go log on to their website through Richland County's office, through Richland County SC.gov, and click onto the community development and locate any of the funds that they do have for nonprofits.
Do we have any other questions? And like she said, and just to let you guys know that this is being aired live on our YouTube channel, so you have an opportunity to go back and watch the presentation again. If you have any additional questions, our contact information is on the screen. Our email address, osbo@richlandcountysc.gov. Or you can contact our office at 803-576-1540. And again, this grant is scheduled to go out this month. And I know in the beginning, Ms. Dunbar talked about the seed grant, which will become available early next year. So we encourage you to watch our website. And once we go live with the application, we will send out notifications. And like she said, just to reiterate, the application will only be open for 3 weeks. So you have 3 weeks to get it in. And once we start reviewing applications, you will be notified with your status. The application will be done through an application called Neighborly. So, but like I said, we will definitely send out notifications when the grant application goes live. I think we have another question that popped up in the box, Jeanette. It says 2020 taxes must be used.
Yes, your 2020 taxes must be used. If you did not file your 2020 taxes, you can submit your 2019 and a profit and loss for 2021, but we're recommending that you do provide your 2020 taxes.
And what I will add to the purpose of the 2020 taxes, if we're thinking about this, COVID started in 2020. So your 2019 taxes won't necessarily show the impact of COVID because it is pre-COVID. So that is why the requirement for the 2020 taxes. And with us being beyond the October extension, thought process would be that most businesses will have filed their 2020.
We have another question. Will all eligible applications be funded, or will it be on a first come, first served basis or by rank?
They will be provided. It's going to be first come, first serve. The funding is until the funding runs out.
Another question came in. What are the time frame limits for expenses to be allowed?
From March the 1st, 2020 up into current.
Do we have any additional questions? These are all good questions that's coming in, so please keep them coming. If not, like I said, you can always contact our office at 803-576-1540. Just send us an email and we'll be sure to reply back to your questions. So I'll give it a few more minutes to see if anybody else have any additional questions. Ms. Green, is there anything else you would like to reiterate or Ms. Dunbar?
Yeah. Okay, for any grants that you apply for, it will be good and efficient for you to save all your documentation in one location. Not necessarily just for this particular grant, but for any grant, for any purposes, even just being a small business, it's good to have all of your documentation in one place that you can reach it at any given time. For instance, you can get a flash drive and put your business license there, your tax information there. Everything pertaining to your business can be there. So as you are applying for not only this grant, but any funding opportunity, you'll have all of your information in a localized location that you can reach it at any given time. So it's just for convenience and just to have all of your information in one place.
Jeanette, we have one other question. Can we get an email of the PowerPoint presentation?
That shouldn't be a problem. We're also going to upload the document onto our OSBO website, and that is richlandcountysc.gov/OSBO.
We have another question. Can a new business apply for this grant?
For this grant, you must have been in business from March 2020 up into current. Therefore, you will not be eligible for this particular grant. However, we do have a seed grant that's coming early 2022, but you have to have been in business 6 months for that one.
Okay. We have another question. What are the most important criteria that must be met in order to qualify? Number of jobs created, retained, or total expenses expended?
Well, all the eligibility required is in stone. The requirements are in stone. You must have a Richland County business license. You must have been in business for a particular amount of time. So those things can't change. The amount of people that you hire, the LMI portion, that is concrete in this particular grant as well. You must retain or create an LMI position. And everything else, as far as the most important, all of the criteria, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, then if you're going to be deemed ineligible for these fundings. So it's best to go through and make sure that you're entering all of the fields and making sure you upload all the information pertaining to those fields, especially through the eligibility requirements.
So a quick recap is that every criteria is important to qualify.
Yes.
Jeanette, if you would, can you go back to that slide that shows your eligibility requirements and just kind of do a quick recap of that, please?
Yes, hold on 1 second. Okay, again, your eligible requirements. You must be a for-profit business located here in Richland County with 1 to 50 employees. That one employee can be the owner. The businesses can demonstrate an ongoing business operation for at least 1 year prior to March of 2021. The applicant must be 51% majority owner of the business. You must have a Richland County business license. You can demonstrate business interruption and revenue loss as a result of the pandemic. You must certify on the application that use of funds will only be used to reimburse authorized business expenses. And you plan to resume normal operations. You shall cooperate with appropriate officials for grant auditing purposes. No owner, officer, partner, or principal actor of the business have a felony conviction for financial mismanagement of the last 3 years, including those that are in prison, on probation, and/or parole. Your business must not be publicly traded. Your business does not have any current city, state, or federal tax liens. Your business does not have any current unpaid code enforcement liens and is not operating in any violation of state, federal, local laws. You must commit to recommended COVID-19 safety guidelines put forth by the local, state, and federal authorities. Your business must not be in bankruptcy. And your business can demonstrate the retention or creation of at least one full-time equivalent employment opportunity for a low or moderate income resident of Richland County.
We have another question. Can you send out the income requirement for employee family that they can make in order to qualify for the program?
Yes, we'll also make sure that's uploaded onto the website. It's also a portion of the application. So as you're going through the application, you will also see that. You will also just for general purposes, if you needed to utilize multiple staff members for that position, you'll be able to complete the application with that information. Just make sure you document it thoroughly. And this applicant and this participant, your employee, you must keep them on board for 1 year. So this position needs to be held for 1 year. So you will be notified later. So that's the auditing team that may come back and just verify that that employee is still with you, or that position is still with you. It doesn't necessarily have to be the employee, but it must be that one position.
Do we have any additional questions? Okay, if not, I just want to thank everybody for attending the workshop again. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact our office at 803-576-1540, and our staff will be on hand to answer any questions that you may have. This workshop is being aired live on our Richland County YouTube channel, so which means you can go back and watch it again, and it will be uploaded to our OSBO website. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We want to thank Ms. Green Swinton and Ms. Dunbar for putting on this workshop, and we wish everybody a good week and a happy holiday. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.